Hey guys, welcome to this FS growth guide where I'll be covering some important information about the FS and the growth system so you can have an easier time growing your own dragon. So when you start a new dragon on a server, you tend to spawn near something called a hatchy pond. You might not always see it. I think I see mine just through the trees there. But if you hold down F, you'll start using your kind of sniffing / scent move. All dragons have access to this, and it creates these trails, and each one of them indicate a different thing. So blue being a water source, where that hatchy pond is. Pink is a bug, which is a food source. Red is blood, or a blood trail. Green are mushrooms, and yellow are other dragons' nests. This will only show you up if it's the same type of dragon, so because I'm playing a Flame Stalker, it would only show other Flame Stalkers. Little egg over there. So yeah, I've got a friend here, chilling. I'm currently on a PvE server, so it's a bit more laid back for recording. I don't have to worry about getting attacked. But yeah, so the important things to consider when growing a new dragon is, especially with the FS, they eat a lot of food, more than any other dragon. They require a lot more. So that's something to bear in mind and something to keep an eye on. It's also very important to stay hydrated. As you can see, I was kind of a thirsty boy coming into this. I'm already relatively grown, so if I hit the I button, it will bring up my stats and stuff. So you can see my bloodline quality and my different stats here, as well as my hunger and my thirst. And as you can see, I'm already 56 growth % progress. This will take a while and won't go up that quickly. I believe it's about 3 hours to grow to an adult FS. So it's quite a commitment, and that's why it's good to kind of know these tricks of how to grow things quicker. So now that I'm no longer thirsty, we're going to find some food. So again, I'm going to use F to sniff out some bugs or some food. Okay, there's a pink trail here, so I'm going to follow that, and it should lead us to a bug. One thing to bear in mind is it's starting to turn night for me. Here we go, there's a bug there. It's starting to turn night, and it can be quite difficult at night to see things. So one thing I'd suggest you all take note of is the V key, which is a night vision key. So I think it would still work now because of the time, it's getting quite dark. But if I press V, that switches me to night vision mode, which, as you can see, the bug stands out quite well against the surrounding terrain. So obviously you can see quite well now because it's still daylight, but if it was at night time, that would help quite a bit to see the bug. Another thing to bear in mind, and this is exclusive to the FS dragon. The FS there is an abbreviation for Flame Stalker. And these dragons also have another visual ability, which is on the Q button, and that puts us into a heat vision. So as you can see, myself is quite warm and hot, and if I were around other dragons, they'd also glow up like this. The range isn't huge, but it can be quite useful if you are, for instance, hunting down a shadow scale dragon, which has the ability to go invisible. However, if you were to use this near one of them, you'd still be able to see them. So that's something good to note and very useful for the Flame Stalker's kit. Okay, so now we've hit Juvie. We're a little bit bigger now. As you can see. So one thing that will happen when you hit Juvie is if you press I, you'll see you now have a mutation point. So when I hit I also press enter, and that allows me to get my cursor up and select these things. So there are different mutations we can invest in: breeding, movement, survival, fertile, agile, scavenger. Each of these have their own benefits. Survival, generally speaking, is for beginners and exclusively for FS dragons that are trying to grow. This means that food is easier to find, as well as it reduces your hunger more. And like you can see, these little increases to critical evasion, protection, and so on. But yeah, this generally isn't used too much, especially in the higher level and like PvP gameplay. If you are building an FS for combat and you know you're going to fight people, a lot of people would suggest using the agile thing. This would increase your flight speed and your stamina, as well as doing some increase to your crit chance and reduces attack cooldowns. This generally would just make you a bit more formidable to fight against than an FS that invested in the scavenger and survival skill tree. Alternatively, you could also build an FS that's made for breeding. This just basically improves your kind of nesting capabilities. So it reduces the time, if you're a female, that it takes for you to grow eggs. And it also increases your nest capacity if you are a male, so you can have more than one nest on the go. It also increases perfect gene crit chance, as well as some other things like crit protection and crit damage. I would only suggest this if you do have a higher level bloodline quality and you are in a group, that needs a designated breeder. But 9 times out of 10, I personally go for movement, as in the long run, I think it's more of a benefit and it makes you a stronger FS to fight against. So I'm going to put my first point in here and hit save. So now that's locked in, there's no resetting that. So that's the investing skill points and what each of them can do for you. So I'm going to hit that and there we go, and I'm just spamming F sort of thing until I get into fight. So usually that wouldn't work quite so well unless I had found a hill to kind of take off from. Otherwise you usually can't do ground takeoffs until about 30%. But as you can see, you can now fly. So for flight, the base controls that you start with is pressing S will make you kind of pull up, so they're kind of reverse, if that makes sense. But yeah, S would make you pull up, so like this, and W would make you dive down. Shift makes you fly a bit faster, so this is me holding shift, you can kind of see it, and if I let go of shift, I do a bit more gliding, the occasional wing beating, that's about it. Use A to turn, D also to turn. And one thing, you can tend to get a bit sharper turns if you hit S with whichever way you intend on turning. So if I press S and A, it's a bit more of a sharp turn as opposed to just pressing the turn button on its own, if that makes sense. We can also hit space key and that will slow us down quite a bit. And then if we just hit F, again, we come out of flight mode and we land safely. If you don't practice that, you might find yourself having a few kind of collisions. So if I just flew straight down and I didn't hit F or slow down enough, I'm going to crash and I'm going to take some damage. You'll see that in the bottom corner there. So that is the main changes for Juvie. You also will now have access to the Bile, which is that yellow bar underneath your health. And that will allow me, if I press right click and hold that down and then press left click, so this is very useful for SS Dragon. So you see that one just behind us here, this one. They take a lot more damage from flame as opposed to an FS, which generally have a better flame resistance than the other dragons in the game. So that's everything for the juvenile phase. Okay guys, we've now reached the adult phase. So we are pretty fully grown, but this isn't our last stage. There is still one more growth stage called Elder. Another FS here. So now that we're fully grown, we can easily take off flight from the ground. We also do a lot more. It makes us a lot more of a threat. So yeah, like I said though, this is the final stage of growth, there is still one more, which is Elder. At the moment, there's only one way of achieving Elder status, and that's through shrooming. Shrooming is going around the map hunting shrooms and eating the ones that are kind of designated to your dragon type. So there are orange shrooms, which are the ones that we need as an FS. There are blue shrooms, which is what the SS requires. There are yellow shrooms, which is what the ASD needs. And there is green shrooms, which any dragon can eat. But they don't give any elder percentage, they just give some health back. So if you're damaged, it could be a good thing for you to eat those, but otherwise they don't provide much benefit or hunger really. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fly us over to a spot on the map called Ravine, and here at Ravine, this is where most of the orange shrooms spawn at FS Dragon. So you'll find on PvP servers that this location is usually quite protected by clans, and it's often a hostile location. So it's something to bear in mind and be careful about, especially as a solo player. You don't really want to be caught out here on your own. So we're going to fly over there, and I'm going to try and show you an example of an orange shroom. Okay, so we found an orange shroom. There's one just in front of us here. The reason it's doing that green glow is because I use my scent nearby, and it will highlight mushrooms, so as you can see. So if I eat these, this will give me some progress towards my elder status. And boom, delicious. So now if we take a look down the bottom here, this should, I think due to the server I'm on, it's not going up, but this would normally give 2%. And once you've eaten 2 of these, or 1, and had a 12-hour percent prop on your elder status, then you'd be able to have a 3rd mutation point to invest into whatever you want. And that generally is a guide to growing the FS and most of the things you need to know about them. So I hope this has helped you guys, and if it did, leave a comment, leave a like. If you have any advice or things you feel like I've missed out on and could have brought up, leave that in the comments below. And I hope you guys all have a great day.